I'm going to continue going through this part because I think it's important. So there falls another offense, and you took the vessels of your exaltation made from your silver and from your gold, and what I gave to you, and you made for yourself masculine images. I'm not going to read the whole thing because we talked about it before, but like, what's a masculine image? Like, a masculine image is someone that like is against women, right? So this condemnation, like, does it go towards Muslims? Does it go towards like all the different religions? Like, this is the prophecy from the religion that I go to from, that I'm like literally from this time for everyone. Like, you have made a religion out of like not appreciating women, out of not protecting women. There's a reason. The first thing I say to the Muslims is, here's how it's going to work. Like, you're going to like worship your wives. Like, that's just how it's going to be. Like, you need to figure it out. Like, they need to be equal, and you need to figure out how to make them equal because they need to be safe. You took the multicolored garment and covered them. I don't know if I want to read this whole thing, but I'm going to go to the middle. I'm just going to read it because it's a prophecy or whatever. A lot of it turns into me prophesying. The multicolored garment is here to the subject of one passage in the scriptures where we clothe ourselves in the bowels of mercy, of goodness, of humility, of gentleness, of patience, to bear with each other. If we mutilate and rip to pieces these multicolored garments and beautiful cloaks, which God has bestowed on us, and wrap them around false teachings in order to deceive people, there is no doubt that we are covering idols with multicolored garments. And you will understand what is being said if I set forth the matter itself more clearly. Okay, that is not about Joseph there. That is not about like probably Apollo being like the best guy who's a gay guy who's like that awesome. This is about like, you are the salt of the earth. Like, I'm giving you like the words to use that are like so incredible that like are going to baffle the world. And like, they're going to keep people addicted to this religion, even though like it is so hard to believe in it because you know the church ruined it. So I'm going to make you like Apollo, or like you took the teachings of Apollo and you covered up like who we are, who you used to be, that I taught you to be. Now it seems like the Jewish people are about like, we're black and billionaires. If we mutilate and rip to pieces these multicolored garments and beautiful cloaks which God has bestowed on us, and wrap them around false teachings in order to deceive people, there is no doubt that we are covered in idols with multicolored garments. But you will understand what is being said if I set forth the matter itself more clearly. Look at some Marcionite, I ask you, or a disciple of Valentinus, or indeed a defender of what heresy you look like, and consider how he clothes his idols, that is, the fictions which he himself has composed, with gentleness and chastity, so that his words, ornamented by the goodness of his way of life, may creep more easily into the ears of his audience. Okay, because people are so full of shit. Like, people will ex like your best friend the moment they think they need to be. Yeah, you want the friend that just likes being around you. And when he has done this, understand that he has taken up a multicolored garment of excellent habits and lifestyles, and has thrown the heretic with a good way of life, is much more harmful and has more power in his teaching than he does the one who brings disgrace on the teachings by his lifestyle. For one who lives a wicked life does not easily attract people to his false doctrine, and is not able to beguile the naivety of the audience by means of a shadow of sanctity. So did you guys understand that? They're basically talking about the Catholic Church like being ruined because like that's what it's going to turn into, and like there's going to be a revival of Protestants like me who like will actually like be drawn to the religion. The one who is corrupt in his discourse and contrary to salvation in his teachings, but has well-ordered and adorned habits, is doing nothing other than receiving the multicolored clothing of good practices and a tranquil lifestyle, and putting them around his idols, the better to beguile his audience. Yeah, like the Catholic Church is the idol religion. Like, you have no idea. But Islam makes idols out of veils, like veils and pillows, out of money and veils. Like, that's what's crazy about like pillows and veils. It's like Islam's like, it feels like that is who Islam is, pillows and veils. That like they preach that much about hijabs. Like, that's your freaking sermon. You have to go to a church to go hear about a freaking hijab when everyone wears a hijab. Therefore, let us painstakingly be aware of heretics who have an excellent lifestyle. Perhaps it is not God, but the devil who has taught them their way of life. For just as bird catchers put out certain kind of enticing bait in order to catch birds more easily through an appeal to the pleasure of their palates, so also, to speak a little audaciously, there's a certain form of chastity that belongs to the devil, that is, one that serves as a snare for the human soul, so that through chastity and gentleness and righteousness of that kind, he may be able to catch souls more easily and trap them in the net of false discourses. That would be diabolos, the version of the diabolos. I'm talking about version of the devil. And the bait is like idols that are like that bad for you. The devil fights using diverse kinds of stratagems in order to destroy the wretched, and he grants a good way of life so to the wicked, so as to beguile the spectators, and thus he brands a bad conscience into the good. So like, yeah, like he convinces you that you're moral by like murdering all those like Christians in Palestine. Furthermore, for me, as one who preaches in the church, he often lays snares with the intention of throwing the entire church into confusion because of my mode of life. And for this reason, those who are on public view as teachers are assaulted more by the enemy, so that through the downfall of a single man cannot be hidden, there may be a stumbling block for all, and the faith of all may be obstructed by the wicked lifestyle of the clergy or of the priest or of the pastor. Like if you're sinning, then like it can ruin like the entire church if you're the pastor. The devil, as I have said, works to accomplish all sorts of things, both those which seem to be good but are not, and those which are wicked by their own nature. All these things he devises against human nature. Hence, one who takes care of for his own life is not caught by the gentleness of heretics so as to go along with their teaching, and will not be made to stumble by the offenses of anyone like me who is seen preaching in the church, but instead examining the doctrine itself and investigating the faith of the church, will turn away from a focus on me and will receive the teaching in keeping with the command of the Lord, who said, "The scribes and the Pharisees have sat upon the seat of Moses. Everything indeed, whatever they tell you, listen to it and do it. Do not, however, act in accordance with their deeds, for they preach but do not practice." So what's the seat of Moses? That's my seat. I'm Izus. And the scribes and the Pharisees will sit upon my seat, right? And what does he call them? The devils. I'm talking about Izus. Izus calls them the devils in John, the one whom Jesus loved. But who is he talking to here? This speech is about me. If I teach good things but do the opposite, and I am sitting upon the seat of Moses like a scribe and a Pharisee, like I think that's logos, because speech is probably logos there, and I wonder if that's about me. Like I wonder if I'm writing to myself, but it's probably him writing to himself too, because we have to write to ourselves, like us too. Like we have to be moral. I know I'm gonna get attacked. Everything I've ever done, like I will call you out for it. I didn't do it. My dad told me. The command has been given to you, the congregation, that if you do not have a complaint against someone for wicked teachings and doctrines foreign to the church, but you do perceive my blameworthy way of life and my sins, you should not regulate your life in accordance with that of the teacher, that is me, but instead should carry out that which I say. Let us not imitate anyone, and if we do wish to imitate someone, there is one who has been put on display to be imitated, Christ Jesus, Izus. The acts of the apostles have been described, and we know the deeds of the prophets from the holy books. That is the steadfast pattern, that is that is the unshakable purpose, and one who desires to follow it walks securely. If, however, we look to the blameworthy for ourselves to imitate, as in a case when we might say, "That man teaches and he does the opposite of what he teaches," then we are acting contrary to the command of the Lord, who instructed us to consider the doctrine of the teachers rather than their lives. This much I have said about the passage. You took your multicolored garment and you covered them. That is the vessel of exaltation, which you transformed into idols. If I read this, I think it would, I would think the logos is about me. Like it is. Like it's that important for me. Like I'm the actual prophet. Like the logos matters because you have to, if you're going to be a prophet, you need to be able to accept the logos. But clearly what he says is, this speech is about me. This logos is about me. If I teach good things but do the opposite, and I am sitting upon the seat of Moses like a scribe and a Pharisee, then like there's no end of the sentence.